Hello, investors. My name is Sharun Naicker, and my group and I will be presenting to you our presentation on sustainable development.
Hello, my name is Nithya Eluri.
I'm Tejaswi Kandukuri.
I'm Joshua Mathew.
And I'm Rohan Prakasam.
Our idea is glass solar panels, and this is our idea as it will revolutionize modern infrastructure, as glass solar panels can be added to buildings without taking away from its architecture.
The main problem with solar panels currently is that first, buildings don't want to implement a new look and new aesthetic for their construction entirely. And another problem is that not every roof is configured to have a solar panel built on top of it. Sometimes a lot of these commercial buildings are just unsuitable for solar because of structural limitations or shading that they are under. And some cities also are very intimidated by solar as they feel it requires some technical or legal expertise as well. Cost is another barrier to solar as well. The preserve federal tax policy puts cities at an immediate disadvantage to the private sector. This policy basically really makes it hard for commercial buildings to implement solar and be more sustainable in their construction and their building wise. At least to purchase a solar panel is a good choice, but it usually only captures tax credit or depreciation, and it really provides no incentive for buildings and companies to implement environmental friendly options. Right now, there are 33 high-rise buildings in just Dallas. So this really shows that what our idea is has a really good target base, and we can really take our small downtown Dallas to bigger areas. And they have great potential to use our ideas and just be more sustainable.
And so going off what Nithya said, there are some disadvantages of solar panels, but we are trying to be more sustainable. So going on to why solar panels are a good use for our community is that they are renewable energy, so it's good for our public health. They do reduce pollution and waste. They reduce electricity bills, and they do fight climate change, and they are very well with long-term savings. But exactly what we are going to implement is glass panels. So why should we choose glass panels? Glass panels are perfect because they look just like normal glass, so it's not going to be too big of a social impact to us. People are going to view it as a regular window itself. Other than that, they have a low reflection, which equals high strength. They reflect sun rays, which makes less heat into buildings and makes it easier for people to feel more comfortable in their respective areas. And lastly, they can efficiently be used on all sorts of buildings. I'll hand it over to Tejaswi now.
Some interesting facts about solar windows. Solar windows will be accessible for third world countries because it decreases their dependence on imported oil from foreign countries, as well as it will increase their reliability on electricity instead as it will be more efficient for them to use. And there has been a 33% increase in solar energy since the last decade alone, meaning it is readily available and it's just going to be increasing soon. And there's an increase in the general interest, and when more people are more interested in learning more about sustainability and practicing methods, so this will be advancing that. And windows capture the most amount of sunlight as compared to rooftops. And usually in high-rise buildings, the top part of the building, which is like top windows, gain the most sunlight. So it would be most efficient and most sustainable to use windows. And the solution. So when we add these panels on the windows of high-rise buildings, they will receive a large exposure to the sun because there are solar cells inserted in the window panels. And these solar cells usually get the sunlight, and they use solar concentrators to convert that solar sunlight, to convert it to energy that could be put to a large variety of use. And here are a couple of pictures that show how solar window panels work. So when the sun shines on the window, the sunlight goes in between in between the solar panel, and it hits the PV cells. And these PV cells convert that sunlight into energy. And as you can see, the sun effect, so the sunlight goes inside the building, or the light goes inside the building and the heat stays outside the building, which makes it so efficient for when the PV cells convert it, only the sunlight will be going in. And next we have a triple insulated glass unit and a solar concentrator. And this just shows more in depth of how it works.
Implementation is actually quite easy, and the easiest form of solar windows to implement are called Building Integrated Photovoltaics, or BIPV for short. And from current research, it is shown that if a building is made of 90% glass, if you insert BIPV in the exchange for natural gas and coal, BIPV will account for 40% of the net energy costs of the building, which is a very high amount off of just solar energy. Along with that, transparent solar cells are increasing in efficiency. Currently, they are not as efficient as they could be, but within the next 5 years, the technology behind transparent solar cells is expected to increase. Along with that, transparent solar cells are also very effective, as they don't sacrifice the amount of area needed. Typically, with a normal solar panel, it would have to be added to like the roof or the side of a building. But with transparent solar cells, you can just implement them in a window, and they don't take away from the architecture of the building, and they can be added to any building.
Currently, 30% of the world's energy is consumed by a large metroplex building, such as skyscrapers and high-risers. As of now, a solar window costs less than 4 times the cost of a normal window. However, the increased cost on solar windows can be justified by the energy cost that will be saved over the years. Also, the cost of windows can be made up by decreasing floors on high-risers and skyscrapers. As you can see here, each floor can cost upwards of $20 million. Windows also make up to 25% of costs on these buildings. By reallocating misused funds, we can use it to fund solar windows. Just by shaving off 2 floors, we can free up to $40 million, which can be allocated towards these solar windows.
This slide represents the resources as well as the data sources that we were able to find that helped us create this presentation. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to listen to us, and we hope that you consider our idea.